You're a brain injury survivor.
Correct.
How did you get hurt?
I was hit by a drunk driver.
What happened?
On the way to work, they say he was going close to 100, but I tried to get out. I lived on a farm at that time. I was out on the field, and he clipped my band and twirled, spun 3 times over, crushed around my head. Last thing I remember is kicking the window out, getting my kids out, and woke up about a month later.
You're how old now?
I'm 40.
And when did this happen?
2005.
So you would have been, what, 33?
Yep.
And this is October of 2012 when we're doing this interview.
Correct.
Were you conscious for some period of time after the accident?
Long enough to get my kids out, and I don't really, it's pretty cloudy even now, so.
Do you remember the beginning of the accident?
Oh yeah, I remember, I saw it coming. It was like almost slow motion.
If I can get you to pause a minute and sort of put yourself back in those moments before the accident and think about that and just try to tell us, almost as if it's happening today, what happens.
Okay, like I said, I lived on a farm. We pulled out of my driveway. I lived on 24 acres at that time and had my daughter and my niece in the back. I was dropping them off at a friend's, and so coming down, there's in the background, I hear them, playing, like kids do. They were 8 at that time, and I go, well, hang on, guys, this guy's not falling asleep, because I saw his head just go down, and I saw it, and so we went into the field, and sure enough, he came into the field, with us. He swerved right into it, just barely clipped me.
So you're turning left out of your driveway, right?
Yeah, turn left, and then as he's coming, we're coming this way. It's an old highway road, 2 lanes, and I could have went the other way, but I would have hit a telephone pole. And
so even though you swerved onto the shoulder off the road itself, he continued, crossed over so far that he nailed you.
Correct. And I stopped it head on though.
What time of day was it?
About 7:30 in the morning.
And he was drunk at that hour.
He was drunk. He was coming back from somewhere, and I really don't know what happened to him.
Now, the moment after the collision, you're actually still lucid, awake?
I remember needing to get it, because the last thing before he hit, the kid screaming. I remember that. I still hear those screams in my head. I was enough to get it out, and I swear somebody helped me get him out, but evidently not.
Now, you managed to get your kids out of the car, and that's your last memory?
Yeah, and it was actually my first cognitive memory, because I had what they call post-concussion amnesia for a good 8 months, and it's pretty severe. And actually went back to work with the amnesia, believe it or not, and they let me do it.
And we'll come back and talk specifically about the amnesia, because it's one of the issues I highlight in every interview. But in terms of that day, the details of that day, do you only remember the few seconds around the collision, or do you have a clear memory of the day up to that point?
Yeah, I was early. I have a pretty clear vision of what was going on to that point.
Right. And then, if we were to take a period, a minute after the wreck, you had no memory for as much as 8 months?
Correct. Well, bits sporadic. It didn't make any sense what I remembered.